Hey, Joe, did you see they got another guilty plea on one of the alleged Gilbert goons?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I wasn't here the other day when yourself and Steve Goldstein talked about this, but I am guessing that you are pretty fired up about it and pretty disappointed.
I don't know what the plea deal was with this. This was Christopher Fantastic. I think he was the first guy that got arrested.
Pled guilty to 2 cases, aggravated assault.
Oh, okay. That's a Class 2 felony in Arizona, by the way.
Mm-hmm. But the previous goons who you were discussing on Monday who pled guilty, what did they get in terms of punishment? And I think those were Class 6 felonies.
Class 2 felonies.
They were Class 2.
Both of them were aggravated assaults.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So Class 2 felony.
Meaning
not murder.
Do we know what they got in terms of?
Yeah. They got probation and 100 hours of community service.
So if it was Class 2 for them, similar kind of...
You realize that being sent to your room is more severe than what these guys got? These guys got grounding, but you can still go outside and play with your friends. That's what they got.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mr. Fantastic is not one of the Gilbert goons who was involved or tied to the death of Preston Lord.
Right.
So different cases for him. Make sure to keep those separate here.
Right. Because what we know about the Preston Lord assault and murder is that had a number of people who had association. Either a couple of them were Gilbert goons.
Several of them have ties as well.
Or others have been tied. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And now we saw just the other day, too, it came out that Maricopa County prosecutors have said that they're not going to seek the death penalty for the 3 accused Gilbert goons who were suspects in Preston Lord's murder case.
Right.
There was a notice of intent was not filed for Dominic Turner, Treston Billy, and Taylor Sherman, according to MCSO's office.
Exactly.
In an email. The other 4, too young at the time of the crime, so they're not eligible for the death penalty anyways.
Right. And what we heard from the county attorney was, we don't think it would be fair to seek the death penalty for the people that are eligible for the death penalty when the other ones are not eligible for the death penalty. So, just to be clear, the Maricopa County attorney is saying very clearly, if you want to be a serial killer, get yourself an underage accessory. Right? That's all you need to do. Because then if you get caught, don't worry, listen, there's not going to be any death penalty. Look, you had a 16-year-old that was with you. We couldn't charge them, so we can't charge you.
I feel your rage on this. I'm going to back you up just a little bit here.
Go ahead.
So, DC sniper case. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do.
So, the gentleman who was found guilty of it, I think his name was like John Allen Muhammad. Am I remembering that right?
I think you are correct.
And his underage accomplice, Lee Boyd Malvo.
Good recollection.
I follow this stuff a little bit. I can do pretty well with it. He was substantially older. To defend these young men here, pretty close in age. Yes, some were 16, 17, but even the older ones were like 19 or 20.
Yeah, so young men versus children.
Yes.
Okay.
But I just want to be clear. You're saying if you're a murderer, go out and get an underage accomplice.
Right.
We're not talking about somebody who's 40 here who's got a 17-year-old.
You know what's interesting is that some attorneys...
And again, for the record, I hear your rage.
Some prosecutors might say, wow, you're 17 and you committed murder. Or at least that's what they're alleging.
Yes.
We are going to charge you as an adult.
Yeah.
Instead... what this prosecutor did is said, wow, you're 20, but you had some friends that were 17. We're going to look at you like a 17-year-old, not the 17-year-old like a 20-year-old.
And they are still being charged, for now, with first-degree murder and kidnapping.
Yeah, great. That's excellent. So why are we not seeking at least the death penalty option? If they're not convicted of first-degree murder, it's not a question, right? If they're convicted of first-degree murder in a beating of a child to death, let's remember the hammer punches that we found out about on a 16-year-old who not only got beaten in the face once, then again. Over what?
Cheap piece of costume jewelry and... recording in a backyard that he wasn't even recording?
pound you, not just a punch to the face like we're in a backyard brawl.
Yeah, at a Halloween party.
But we're talking about a martial arts maneuver here. Pounding in order to inflict maximum devastation. 1, 2, 3, 4. At what point did he lose consciousness and they kept beating?
Pretty early on. I would assume the first one.
But we still felt like we had to keep beating him. But don't worry, my friends here are still in high school, so I don't have to face the consequences that someone else my age might have to face. If these 3 that were eligible for the death penalty were not surrounded by 4 other juveniles, would we still have the same story? The charging is being done solely because they had juveniles in their street gang. That's it.
I think we might still be seeing the same thing. My gut tells me that Rachel Mitchell in the Maricopa County Prosecutor's Office thinks because they are young men that she won't be able to get a conviction in the death penalty. So don't pursue it.
Okay, fair. I would accept that.
That's what my gut says.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll accept that. In fact, I will even say this. Is it possible that they wouldn't even pursue this? Based on what else we saw this week, I'm going to say yes.
Based on what else?
The plea deals that you opened the segment with, Joe, because we had plea deals for a Class 2 felony, aggravated assault, which could carry up to 5 years in prison for every count. They said typically the sentencing is about 1 year, and yet these street gang members got...
Basically did time served and then some community service.
Probation and community service. Strange. Let me see here. I was just pulling up KTAR.com. Let's see. Here's going. Let's see. This is strange. A jury found 33-year-old Eric Todd Bell guilty on 5 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of kidnapping, all Class 2 felonies. Oh, it's Class 2 felonies. Let's see. So he got. Well, that's a violent crime perpetrated on somebody else, right? Sexual assault. That's violent crime.
You said that's the same as
Class 2 felony.
Class 2 felony is the same kind of class in terms of felony
as the aggravated assault.
Right.
Yeah.
Different crime, though, right? But I see where you're going.
They're both violent crimes against somebody else,
and both Class 2 felonies.
And they both did tremendous damage to their victims.
How much time did that guy get?
40 years. 40 years. And yet in Gilbert, you commit a Class 2 felony, you don't even get 1 year. You get
time served, community service, probation.
100 hours community service. 100 hours of community service.
Would 1,000 make you feel better? Wouldn't make me feel better.
Yes, it would.
I mean,
it would make me feel a lot better, actually.
I'd feel better with jail time than the community service.
I like the community service better. And I hope that they have to clean the insides of garbage trucks. That's what I hope they have to do. But I think these guys are going to end up having mom and dad with a great lawyer who are going to say, we're going to let you pick up trash on a park that doesn't have any traffic. So there won't be any trash. In fact, we're going to pack you a picnic basket.
Yeah,
and you're going to have to go out there every weekend for the next 2 months and eat your picnic and wait for them to come pick you up from your community service. Come on.
Anybody who says that these were fights, to me, is grossly unfair.
These were beatings.
Unprovoked, and some were done with brass knuckles.
Yeah.
None of them were fair fights. It's not like you and I get into it at the bar and we say, hey, let's take this outside, and we throw a few punches.
So
this is 6 or 7 on 1 with, a weapon in many cases, and to me, no, it doesn't matter how much community service. There needs to be substantial jail time.
I have to tell you, my brain is racked right now because based on what we've seen with the other Gilbert Goons pleas, and now what we're seeing about the prosecutor who says she's not going to go after the death penalty, oh my gosh. No, that wouldn't happen. Let me think this through before I open my mouth on this, Joe, because no. I got to think this through here because I can't even imagine we would go that soft on crime.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.